Why don't you start off
Okay.
with addressing the chancellors? I know we got into some of it last night.
Well, I'm really disappointed in the timing of the chancellor's other reasons for our termination because, first of all, they terminated us on December 9th, and we were ranked 3rd in the league and 6th in the country, and our kids were going into final exams, and so the timing of that was deplorable. And now we're heading into playoffs this Friday. And what he doesn't understand is the impact this has on our student athletes. I'm not the one out on the ice playing the games. The student athletes are playing the games and competing. And so, again, their timing is deplorable, and I don't understand it. I really don't. The other thing about the excuses and the reasons that he gave are new, ones that I have not heard, but also they ring hollow. They do. We were ranked 3rd in the WCHA, which is the toughest league in the country, and 6th in the country when we were given our termination papers. We'd won 12 out of our last 13 games. And me as the head coach of this program, there was a possible 14 NCAA appearances, and we were in 7 of them. So if you do the math, that's 50%. We were in the NCAA appearances 50% of the time, and there's 36 teams. So we've had a really strong record. We have a successful program. So for him to say performance when you're ranked 6th in the country and they terminate you, don't buy it.
Had the Chancellor and Athletic Director Josh Burlow come out and said what was said yesterday, right from that was in the letter, what Black had in the letter. If they had said that stuff right from the start, would that have changed things for you?
No, absolutely not. Because the things that he touched on, performance, like I just said, 7 out of 14 times, NCAA tournament. My God, the last time we were there was only 3 years ago. We played Wisconsin. We were ranked 6th in the country. They made us bus to Wisconsin to play number 1. Mark Johnson was furious because he didn't want to play us. They beat us 2-1 in a game that could have gone either way. They went on to win the national championship very easily. He publicly stated at a press conference that the game against Duluth should have been the NCAA final game, that was the toughest game in the NCAA play. And that was only 3 years ago, so don't tell me we're not competitive with them. And so performance is a ridiculous reason when you look at our overall. Like, what maybe Chancellor doesn't understand is we're not just playing against Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota. There's 8 teams in our league, and there's 36 in the country. So he might want to look at the bigger picture. And so performance is a moot point. They brought up the kids that left. Josh Burlow, when we talked last winter about we need to be more competitive. Like, he asked me, what can you do? What can we do for you? Well, I want a full-time director of operations. I'd really like more resources, recruiting, summer school, 5th year, all that stuff I've explained to you. And he's like, okay. He's like, I'll do what I can for you. He's like, but you got to recruit more Minnesota kids, and you've got to win more, and you've got to come in on budget. Well, we've never not come in on budget. So we recruited more Minnesota kids, as you all know, big announcements for next year. We're winning more, 6th in the country. And last year we came in $100,000 under budget, but we still got terminated. So those are the things we took care of. So I said to him, we're also gonna have to make roster changes, okay? So if he says you gotta be more competitive and you gotta win more, I'm like, okay, then I have to make some roster changes, which is not easy to do. These are young girls' lives. He said, no, you do what you got to do. I got your back. So I rattled off at our next meeting 5 or 6 kids that we would have to move out. I told him why. And he said to me, yeah, you have my full support. He approved it. And I said, I will do it as amicable as possible. And we did it as amicable as possible. There was no hard feelings that I am aware of at all. They all left amicably. And what I told them all was, we will find a better place for you so that you can play, or you can be more social. Some of them just wanted a more social environment. They're in college. So we found them a more social place to go, and I was honest with the coaches about what they were and kind of what they wanted. And others wanted to play more. So we found them places to go. They were all happy when they left here, and I personally think I have a good relationship with all of them. So for the Chancellor to make it sound like a bunch of kids left my program because they're unhappy is a blatant lie. Attendance, last thing, I swear.
Yeah.
It's in his letter.
Well, I was going to go through all those things that were in the letter there.
We're 4th in the country in attendance. Burlow, when he got interviewed for the AD job, said, you're a great coach. You have an unbelievable program. They don't market your program enough. He's like, if I'm the new athletic director, I will market your program. He gets here, sits on that couch right there, and says, you are one of the greatest coaches in the country. You and Muffet McGraw are my 2 favorite female coaches on the planet. You are so successful, you're so high profile, we got to market you, we got to market your program. Then I find out from 2 marketing people that I'm sitting at that table with having a meeting, that he tried to cut our stay-at-home part-time marketing person. We have a stay-at-home mom that is our part-time marketing person. And he tried to cut that position. And he didn't talk to me about it. I found out about it from them. And I said, well, then, and why didn't he cut it? And they said, well, we pushed back. And he wasn't able to cut it. So if he wants to talk about attendance, how about we talk about the fact that we hired a guy, Josh Burlow, who's a marketing guy, and Jay Finnerty's assistant, that's a marketing guy. And we have all these other marketing people in our department. My job is not to market our program and get people in the stands. That's their job. And I am proud of the fact that we're 4th in the country.
Do you feel attendance should be a factor in whether a coach keeps their job or not? It's something that's been brought up. Mike E's at the University of Wisconsin right now. His hockey program has seen their attendance at the Kohl Center drop significantly, and people have said that's going to push their athletic department to make a change. Do you feel attendance should be a factor in whether or not a coach at a college team, Division I athletics, keeps their job?
There's no question it should not be. There's no question it should not be. There's nothing about attendance that should affect a coach having their career coaching job or Title IX and the law, etc. There are people that are hired to do that. And so if someone's going to lose their job, I suggest they first look at the people that have been hired to market Mike Eve's program and mine and anyone else's.
Mm-hmm. Why do you believe this is a possible Title IX case, your contract not being renewed?
Well, I can give you some pretty basic stuff, and then you'll have to get specifics with them since they're the attorneys. But here's how I can explain it to you. The men's coach and the women's coach, both Division I, we have comparable jobs. Okay? We do the same thing. You know, I don't know this for a fact, but there's a men's hockey budget that's been circulating, and somebody made sure that I got it, and I'm grateful for that. What that budget says, that I had in front of me last week, says that Scott Sandelin is actually making $300,000 this year. I'm making $207,000. So we're doing the same job. I have a great deal more success than he has, but he's making $100,000 more than me. Okay, so that doesn't seem equitable to me. He has a full-time director of operations. I've been asking for one for 6 years. In fact, I started asking the year before he got one. And what they told me was, well, we can't afford to give both the men's and the women's hockey program full-time director of operations, so we'll give the men one this year and we'll give you one next year. Well, now it's another 5 years has passed and I don't have one, so that's not very equitable to me. And then coaching salaries, assistant coaches, his assistants are paid much more than mine, and they should, obviously for Gina, there's a difference there, but not Schuler. So those are things you look at. Their equipment budget, we wear the exact same equipment. I'm sure you guys are aware of that. We wear the exact same equipment. The only difference would be they would break more sticks than we do. But their equipment budget is probably double ours. The recruiting budget is double ours. How many more extra players do they carry? 2 or 3 a year, I don't know.
Do you feel you've been discriminated against and that is part of your dismissal?
Yes, there's no question. First of all, I've been discriminated against within the athletic department for many years. Discriminated against, obviously, based on our salaries, our pay, and the stuff I've already mentioned. But discrimination rears its ugly head in many ways. We all know that. And there's definitely been several different types of discrimination. I'm not going to go into every example or even specific examples because then I'm exposing our case, which would not be wise. But no, for sure, discrimination is part of our situation, if you want to call it. Yeah. Discrimination
based on gender and sexuality?
Yes. I believe so right now. Here's the problem. I have to be focused on our team, okay? All I know is what I've gone through in the last 15 years working in the UMD athletic department. I know I've been treated. I know why I had to go to HR on many occasions. I know why I had to contact administration on many occasions. And they asked me to be in a video for Chancellor Black a few years ago. I can't remember what it was called, but it was about to say that the campus is a really positive and safe place for gay people. And I refused to be in the video for good reason. So discrimination, like I said, rears its ugly head in many forms. And I feel I have been discriminated against as a woman. I feel I've been discriminated against because I'm gay. And I'm not going to, we don't know where it's going to go, right? I have to give my attorneys evidence, and I can't even do that till the season's over, you know, a little bit here and there. But when the season's over, I got to sit down and really go through all my documents from HR, my emails, the complaints of the past, my thoughts, and really put in, and be honest and be fair about everything, and then turn that over to my attorneys and let them decide where this goes.
The discrimination based on your gender and sexuality, that's something you've seen throughout your entire career, or is that something that's reared its head more recently?
No, at different times. I'd say the last 5 years for sure, there's no question. And the last year and a half, how long has Josh been here? Year and a half? It's been more, yeah. You're made to feel very uncomfortable and unwanted. There's a real lack of respect. I get treated with a real lack of respect, but yet I don't treat anyone with a real lack of respect. If people are mean to me and push me, I'll take it for a little bit, and if they continue to be mean to me and push me, I push right back. And I know that's what they don't like, but I'm not a doormat, and I will not be, and neither will my team. So,
have you filed formal complaints, or what measures have you taken against some of this discrimination?
Yes, I have. I filed many formal complaints, and really not much has changed.
Why stay someplace that's discriminating against you?
Many a time I decided I was going to go somewhere else. And I'll tell you, all you got to do is walk through the halls of the deck or Amsoil to meet your players for practice, and your heart skips a beat. They're like, "Hi, coach." They crank up the music, and you've got probably 2 years invested in them recruiting, and then 1, 2, 3, or 4 years while they're here with you. And they become your family, they become your life, and then you go home at night and think, okay, I know last night I decided I was going to leave. I can't work here with these people anymore or be treated like this. I need a better situation for myself. And then you go home after being with your kids and you just go, oh, God, I love these kids. You know, and so you go back and forth with that.
Do you believe that you're a difficult colleague to work with in the athletic department?
No, not at all. I'm a really kind and honest person who minds her own business, and I spend most of my time here or at home or on the road with my team. If people want to be kind back to me and have a really positive, great working relationship, that's what I want. Who doesn't want that? However, if people are going to be rude to me and treat me disrespectfully and be downright ignorant, you're only going to put up with it for so long before you push back. You can be this little, you know, cozy cub. Eventually the claws are going to come out.
There are some people that you've had some run-ins with, and maybe there's some bad blood. And do you think any of those relationships maybe played a factor in this?
For sure. Absolutely. No, there are some people that have been jealous of me since the day I came, and like I said to you, the more we won, the worse it got. I mean, honestly, there are some people in the department that have never been nice to me, and I've been here 16 years, and I'm actually a really nice person. But I can't do anything about it. If that's their belief, whatever their belief is, or their opinion of me, or maybe they're homophobic, maybe they're sexist, maybe they're, I don't know. I don't know what it is. So, yeah, there are some people that have never been nice to me. So do we have a good relationship? No. Do I try to have a cordial, professional relationship with them when I have to? Of course.
What are your thoughts on the NCAA sports model with you know, these are public institutions of learning, and you know, UMD has a $6 million shortfall. I'm hearing about other teams in the NCHC. Western Michigan's got like 20 million. Miami's got a pretty big shortfall as well. They're all losing money on some of these sports. As someone who comes from Canada and your experience with abroad and everything like that, what do you think of the NCAA sports model? Is this sustainable to have, you know, college athletic teams that are losing money? Because even the men's program's losing money.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing. I was blown away when I came to the United States. I was absolutely blown away. I was like, oh my God, like I thought I'm going to live here forever. I don't ever want to go back, and I love Canada. But I was like, God, they pay their college coaches. They pay them well. These kids are getting free equipment, free ice, meals. And I was like, wow, what a gig the U.S. has got going, you know, U.S. college sports. And now that I've been living it for 16 years, of course I think it's awesome. I guess if I was made God or put me in charge of the NCAA, I would probably decrease head coaching salaries in all sports. Hockey, men's and women's, football, basketball, and increase the salaries of the lower paid employees, the support staff. I think there's a great deal of discrepancy in the U.S. system, and I shouldn't criticize it, of course. I have to be careful because, first of all, I am a U.S. citizen now, but I know everybody knows I came from Canada, so I'm very grateful for everything, but I'm a bit surprised at the salaries that they're willing to pay out to head coaches, specifically of men's programs, of course, but yet they won't pay like a Montana a decent salary, who right now she's in ER. She's so sick because she works so hard and she does 2 jobs. And so that's the one thing I would change, because I don't know if it's sustainable to keep paying the coaches, the head coaches, all this money and pay these other people not very well. I don't see it as fair. I guess I'm kind of a social justice gal. And I think if you change that dynamic and that model, I think it's sustainable.
Do you think you're making too much as a head coach?
Not compared to what's going on around me, I guess. No, not when Scott and I do comparable jobs. I have less staff than him, less resources, but we do comparable jobs, and I'm making approximately $100,000 a year less than him. So no, I do not think I'm being paid too much money. However, if you took all the head coaches of all the teams, that's what I'm talking about, not a UMD, in the entire country, and say, okay, we're going to cut all your salaries by 20%, and we're going to increase the equipment manager, the skate, the athletic trainer, and all these people that work constantly for you guys, we're going to increase them by 10%, well, you're already ahead. It's probably sustainable.
Your dismissal, what do you feel are the broader implications when it comes to female college coaches? I've actually had one athletic director tell me that there's some eyes from other ADs and sports law people on your case, because this could be game-changing in terms of how not just female coaches, but coaches of female athletic teams are possibly paid. What do you feel are the broad implications of your possible Title IX case? Well,
there's 2 messages. One, don't be too successful, because when you're successful, they'll pay you, and then all of a sudden you're making too much money, so they fire you. That's one message. The second message is, you're just a woman, therefore you're less than. Whether it's the coaches that they're looking at or the program, it's the women's program, you're less than the men's program. You're a female coach, you're less than a male coach. And that was pretty much delivered loud and clear here in our situation. So that's a very sad message to send to society in 2015. Oh my God, I've been fighting hard for, progress and forward movement my whole life, and I feel like we're moving backwards.